first half of the video I will be talking about true crime cases, and the second half will be true scary stories from Reddit. If it sounds good to you, if it helps you relax or fall asleep, don't forget to subscribe my channel and all that. I'm trying to reach 1,000. That will change my life, and that would also be awesome. Thank you. The first true crime story is about a woman named Aurora Rodriguez and her daughter Hildegard Rodriguez. Aurora was a Spanish woman who is remembered as the mother of Hildegard Rodriguez, a girl she conceived as a scientific experiment, and who, according to Aurora's wishes, was to represent the woman of the future. As Hildegard's fame as a child political activist grew, so too did Aurora's paranoid belief that an international conspiracy jeopardized the experiment. That's her daughter. She called her daughter an experiment. When Hildegard tried to gain independence at age 18, Aurora concluded the experiment was a failure and shot her daughter Hildegard dead. Aurora was tried for murder and institutionalized for the remainder of her life. It is believed that Aurora Rodriguez if I'm correct, was born in 1879 in her family home in Magdalena Street in Ferrol, A Coruña, Spain. Her parents were Francisco Rodriguez and Ana Carballera, Lopez. Her family and the environment she grew up in has been described as upper class. Of course, she got into liberalism. Aurora did not receive a formal education. Instead, she became self-taught on subjects such as liberalism, progressivism, and utopian socialism through her father's abundant collection of written works. When Aurora's sister Josefa had a son named Pepito Ariola and left him in the care of Aurora, who was at the time 16 years old, she educated him until he became a child prodigy. He was subsequently claimed by his mother and taken to Madrid, where he had enormous success as a musician. This fact strengthened Aurora's reformist and eugenic ideas, in addition to her concerns for women's rights, and led her to conceive the project of daughter the life she had prepared for her. The experiment initially met Aurora's expectations, with Hildegard becoming an international celebrity. However, the freedom in which Hildegard was brought up led her to choose differing political commitments, and she launched an attempt to gain independence from her mother, who wouldn't. Aurora was unwilling to forego her control over her daughter's life, and was also affected by paranoid delusions that there was an international conspiracy to ruin the perfect result of her eugenic experiment. As a result, she killed Hildegard on June 9, 1933, shooting her 4 times while her teenage daughter was asleep. Aurora's own explanation was, quote, "The sculptor, after discovering the most minimal imperfection in his work, destroys it." What a freaking monster, man. Who did she think she was? Didn't she realize that someone else had also made her, who gave her the authority over someone else's life? Aurora never regretted murdering her daughter Hildegard, and repeatedly said that she would do it again. She was sentenced to 26 years in prison, and she spent most of it in a psychiatric asylum until her medical records were found in 1977. Aurora was believed to have become one of the disappeared during the Spanish Civil War, but she actually died of cancer in the psychiatric facility on December 28, 1955. She was buried in a mass grave. Good for her. And that is the end of the article about this monstrous woman. Now she makes you feel good about your mother. The next article is from independent.co.uk, and it is titled 3 Teens Opened a Suitcase on the Beach, hoping for lost treasure. What they found was key to catching the lethal landlord. It was published on July 8, 2024. One glistening day, 3 teenagers stumbled across a suitcase along the rocky shores of Seattle's Alki Beach, ALKI. The inquisitive trio hoped to find something of value as they eagerly unzipped the black bag before setting cameras rolling for a TikTok video. As they hauled the bag from the body of water, instead of treasure, they found the case was stuffed full of rotting human remains. Last week saw the return of Netflix hit true crime series Worst Roommate Ever. In the final episode of its 2nd season, viewers were introduced to Michael Lee Dudley, the warm-humored, unassuming-looking 66-year-old looked by all appearances a committed Washington Airbnb owner has since earned the nickname the Lethal Landlord, was actually a killer. In late 2019, Jessica Louise, 35, and her boyfriend Austin Weiner, 27, rented one of Dudley's rooms in Burien, Burien. By the following summer, the couple had vanished without a trace. On June 9, 2020, a neighbor said they heard a man's voice pleading for his life as gunshots rang out, according to court documents. When police arrived at the scene, Dudley refused to open the door. The couple had gotten into a spat with the landlord over unpaid rent. The tenants were dismembered and their body parts squeezed into the suitcase. Only 10 days after the murder, the three teens discovered the remains. The gruesome video was posted on TikTok and went viral, quickly garnering more than 30 million views. After the discovery, police obtained a search warrant at Dudley's property, where Louise and Weiner had been staying. There, authorities discovered freshly covered bullet holes and traces of blood. Dudley was arrested on August 19, 2020 on suspicion of murder and charged 5 days later. His ex-girlfriend of 14 years, Marlies Gordon, spoke out, alleging that he once ricocheted her head off a patio floor with a gun in his hand. Louise's aunt, Gina, also claimed that Dudley had previously held her niece at gunpoint, killed animals as threats, and placed a tracker on her car. On April 7, 2023, Dudley was found guilty of 2 counts of second-degree murder. He will now likely spend the rest of his days behind bars after he was sentenced to 46 years in prison. He is currently serving his time at Washington State Penitentiary and will not be eligible for parole until the age of 104. I hope he rots in prison. I mean, he's already looks rotted. So that's like this picture shows you of this man. Do not to trust anyone just because you think they look innocent. You might be wrong. Alright, that was the true crime part of the video, and now on to the Reddit stories. This one was posted on subreddit Paranormal Encounters. Very recent, 3 hours ago for me. And it's titled "The Image of This Black-Haired Beast Still Haunts Me 20 Years Later." About 20 years ago, I had one of the most perplexing things happen to me while I was out having a cigarette. It was about 2 a.m. and I had woken up in the middle of the night. tossing and turning. I just could not get back to sleep. I decided to go out and have a smoke. For reference, I lived in an apartment with a small cement patio out front. It is on a very busy street with a sidewalk that runs alongside it. While the street was loud and busy during the day, it was very peaceful to sit out there at night. All my neighbors were sleeping, and the night was cool and calming. Anyway, while I was sitting on my patio steps, a large dark-colored animal came to view from a distance. It was walking on the sidewalk. For some reason, my freeze response kicked in. I became a brick, and the hair on my arms was raised. While it walked slowly toward me, I tried to make out what kind of animal it is. It was easily as big as a horse. I know people sometimes walk their horses around town, even though this is a large city, but there was no rider on this creature. Is it an escaped horse? The closer it got, the more confused I was. It resembled a large black panther or a lion or a bear. It had black fur that was kind of wavy. I could see the steam from its breathing. The crazy thing is, it did not seem to be aware of my presence. Maybe that is why I stayed frozen, letting my cigarette burn out completely. It was like I knew if I moved that it would kill me. My body eventually let me move, but I was probably out there a good 30 minutes, scared out of my mind to move. I don't know that much about these things, but I feel like I saw something that I wasn't supposed to see. I feel like it was from a different dimension or something, and I just got a peek. I've had a few paranormal type encounters and another perplexing glitch that happened recently, and it always feels the same, like I'm just getting a glimpse beyond the veil. Please tell me someone else has seen this creature. It has haunted me more than any other unexplained experience I've had. I've tried talking about it with other people, and they usually just say something patronizing like, "Wow, that's crazy, haha." And that is the end of his post. It was written by username named Thrash Ahoy. Thrash Ahoy. Let's go through the comments. I like to see what other people think. The first one is, "Wow, I believe you, because I've seen a Bigfoot." What? I've seen a Bigfoot. It was a brown, reddish color, and it was looking at me, and I was looking at it. I feel like it came to our world. It's kind of hard to explain, but I know what I saw. I was looking through the glass door of my friend's house. That's when I saw it. The sun was shining very bright, and when the clouds went in front of the sun, that's when it just disappeared. What do you think? Do you think there is a veil, and that things from other dimensions could accidentally or on purpose walk through it? And also, do you think, could we pass through it? And what if we are the ones creeping someone else out in another dimension? Whatever whatever these words mean. The next one on the same subreddit was posted by a username called Timely Cheesecake 40. Spirit in the house seems to be growing in power, and I'm starting to become concerned. I'll try to keep this simple. I've been seeing my partner for about 6 months now and spent a lot of time in her house with her and her 5 kids. The house is only about 25 years old, but is also located close to woodlands and forest areas. When we first started dating, she had informed me of a spirit in her house, telling me it's quite common to hear noises and footsteps and seeing lights flicker, but she also had one horrifying experience, waking one night to the feeling of being choked and a black tall figure standing over her in bed. Over the past 3 months, we have both had some experiences with this spirit. Lately, however, the experiences seem to be growing in frequency and power. Starting off, my partner one night a few months back had a friend over and had ordered food. My partner headed to her room to use the bathroom. Whilst walking back into the lounge to her friend, she heard a distinct male voice in her ear whisper, "How did you like that?" It shook her up quite badly, as it was so loud and audible in her ear. Things seemed fine after this, as she had decided to cleanse the house. She's quite a spiritual person, and I guess a hippie who definitely believes in spiritual energy. However, since then, things have really ramped up. Doors that are locked have been opening and closing on their own, banging and knocking through the house, things being moved or audibly being moved when myself or her are in other rooms. Well, you just said she has 5 children. 2 weeks ago, whilst watching the football in the lounge, I started to hear whispering in my ear. I could not distinguish what it was saying, but it was definitely a male whispering in my ear. Same room that it had happened to my partner. Directly after this, every light in the kitchen and other open area turned on. This included one of the children's toys. This left me absolutely creeped out. I promptly turned it all off and crawled into bed with the missus, who was equally freaked out. After this, it's been constant banging noises almost every few days. And last night was the last straw. We were in bed, my partner asleep, myself watching TV at around 10 p.m. All of a sudden, the ceiling fan turned onto maximum. This fan requires a remote pointed directly at it, and then another button pushed to turn it on to maximum. The remote was on my nightstand facing away from the fan. This woke my missus and startled the hell out of me. Shortly after this, I looked over to our doorway to see a dark, tall, 7 feet at least, dark black figure step away from the door and into the lounge that joins onto our room. That's creepy. Now today, as I was leaving for the gym around 9 a.m., again the banging returned. Sounds like something got in a washing machine. I ignored it and left. My partner, after dropping the kids at school and also going to gym, came home to the same banging. She freaked out and wouldn't enter the house. I was also choked in bed 2 nights ago and woke up absolutely freaking out. No, I hadn't pissed off my partner. It's at the point I think we need a professional to come into the home, but I have no idea where to start. What professional do you mean? We are located in Melbourne, Australia. Or is it Melbourne? I don't know. Any help or suggestions or questions would be great. FYI, the spirit does not seem to affect or bother us when the children are present. Just thought I would add this. That's... oh, I don't know how to feel about that. That's creepy. Some of the comments say that you should try and catch these evidences on recording. That usually makes these stop, which was really funny. But one comment in particular, which interestingly enough I cannot see the name of the username. It says, with that many kids, it could easily be a PK manifestation. If any of the kids are having trouble processing things, that it got worse when you showed up might mean that one of the kids has a problem, even subconsciously, with you being around. Talking with the kids, counseling them, or getting them therapy might help to bring the noise down, which sounded really interesting. And I searched what PK manifestation means, and it stands for psychokinesis, which is the ability to move or influence physical objects without physical contact, only using the power of mind. So I've never thought about it like that. That maybe a person, when they are sad or angry about something, might subconsciously change the things around them even without using their words or actions. I might kind of believe in that. I don't know, but it sounds, I don't know, possible, maybe. What do you think? Well, all of these rely on believing that these people believe what they're saying, that they actually heard this stuff and they're not just making things up to feel something. And that is all I have for tonight. I hope you have enjoyed listening to it. It has helped you fall asleep.